is that nurses in public hospitals in different counties insist that the strike will still go on despite the fact that a court granted the governors their wish and suspended the ongoing strike for 60 days. Now, the Council of Governors Chairman Wycliffe Oparanya said the court ordered nurses and the employers to attend conciliation meetings initiated by Labour and Social Protection Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani. Now, last week, Yatani formed a committee to look into issues raised by nurses and file a report within 30 days. The Governor's Council moved to court to challenge the legitimacy of the strike. Meanwhile, nurses in Mombasa County have raised issued a 7-day strike notice after their uniform and the nursing service allowances were withdrawn from their January salaries. Mombasa is one of the counties that had honored the return to work agreement. So right now I'd like us to talk to Seth Panyako, who is the Secretary General of the Kenya National Union of Nurses, just to tell us the way forward. When is this stalemate likely to come to an end? And Mr. Panyako, thank you so much for joining us here on KNUN Center via way of phone. What's ringing in the minds of Kenyans is for how long will they continue suffering when it comes to medical services being issued in public hospitals?
I think the strike can end even at the next minute if the employer stops paying this ping-pong game where they are playing with nurses, cat and mouse game, and they have individualized and personalized the issue of a nursing service allowance. The agreement that was ended when the former SRC commissioners were still in place. So I have every reason to believe that the former SRC commissioners were being consulted when the negotiations were taking place. So another set of commissioners cannot come in and say rubbish what was done by the previous commission. So the letter that was written yesterday by SRC has angered nurses across the country, and they are demanding a full-scale industrial action, even those who are paid. So we are consulting, and very soon we might actually issue a national strike and call all nurses in Kenya, including Moi Faro in National Hospital, to call strike.
So as we're speaking right now, we are looking at a bigger strike come on Monday?
Not Monday. We have not made that decision. On Monday, we are only having Garissa, Minister of Health, Samburu, Kirinyaga, and Embu joining the strike. But the nationwide strike is yet to be discussed.
All right, so from your explanation, Mr. Panyako, it looks like there's a blame game between the nurses union officials and between the nurses union officials, the Council of Governors, and the SRC.
There is no blame game between me and the government officials. The blame game can only happen within government, because as far as we are concerned, we entered in agreement, and that agreement is binding. You cannot, as a government, enter into agreement and rubbish those agreements. The conmanship going on in government must be stopped, because we SRC commissioners, I think there are about 7. Yes.
Let's talk about the court order that was issued, and of course the Council of Governors are saying there's a court order, and of course that you need to honor that court order, but there's been a lot of disagreement between you and the Council of Governors when it comes to that court order, because you're saying you have not received a court order, you're still on strike, you're still waiting for that court order to be given to you.
First of all, I want to say that if there is any court of law that issued orders in favor of Council of Governors, which is an amorphous organization, which is not a corporate entity with powers to sue and to be sued, that court must have been misled beyond reasonable doubt, and that will be bringing down the pedigree of the judiciary. Because the Council of Governors is not a state corporation. The Council of Governors is not a person as interpreted in the Interpretation and General Provisions Act. It's not a person. It cannot sue, and it cannot be sued. The Council of Governors is not an umbrella of trade unions registered by the Minister of Labour, and therefore it cannot go to court on behalf of any employer. That is an amorphous organization. The Council of Governors is unconstitutional. We can only discuss issues emanating from our employer, the County Public Service Boards.
Let's talk about the conciliation committee that was set up by Labour Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani. What is your take on that? Are you likely also to continue with the meeting, because this is part of the ruling that was given by the court? Because
we have
expecting a report.
We have stated our position that we shall attend the conciliation meeting under only 3 conditions. One, the condition is to complete the collective bargaining agreement, because that return to work agreement of 2nd November 2017 required that we complete the collective bargaining agreement within 30 days. That has not been completed. 2, we had also left out the issue of grading structure and harmonization for nurses, which we agreed in the return to work formula, paragraph 5, that we had left that one to the courts, and therefore we want to open and discuss those 2 issues. And then we'll also be engaging, if there is a goodwill, on the issue of what will then be the lasting solution for human resource management for health workers. We will be engaging on those 3 issues, but we will not be engaging on the issue of the implementation of the nursing service allowance and uniform allowance. I am taken aback when I hear SRC say that nurses are being paid a lot of uniform allowance. I don't know whether they understand the cost of buying a uniform and maintaining a uniform. A pair of shoes, you need about 2 or 3 pairs of shoes in a year. You need a belt, you need trousers, I don't understand what SRC is talking about. So uniform allowance is not a remunerative allowance. It's a facilitative allowance. And that has to be paid. 10,000 is not adequate at all.
All right. And Mr. Panyako, as much as you're saying that you're ready for conciliation talks, between your union the union officials with the government, are we likely looking at a situation whereby as you attend those meetings, you're likely to suspend or call off the strike? Because that is what the CS was asking for.
There is nothing like that. We will not call off any strike. That one somebody must fix in his head properly and listen clearly. Of course, I have already told you that if there are orders, I'm dismissing those orders are just a piece of paper. Because orders must be issued to an entity registered and which has a status of a person. Council of Governors is not a person. In fact, when you look at the Intergovernmental Act, there was establishment of the Council of County Governments. Council of County Governments. Council of Governors is not a body established by any law in Kenya. The council established in Kenya is called Council of County Governments. This one is called Council of Governors. Even the Council of County Government established under the Intergovernmental Act is not a corporate body. It cannot sue and it cannot be sued. So the one they are referring to as Council of Governors, which is purported to have moved to court, does not even exist in any law in Kenya. It's an amorphous organization, and the court must have made a terrible mistake, and that will bring shame to the court. I'm even wondering, an ex-party order as provided for in the law cannot be in place for more than 28 days. You give the first 14 days, then you extend for a second time with another 14 days. If the matter is not resolved, those ex-party orders cannot be extended beyond 28 days. And therefore, if a judge sits and gives an ex-party order of 60 days, that is not unheard of in legal practice. That is not jurisprudence. That one is actually something different. We cannot even explain. But we are yet to look at those things. They are yet to serve on us. Then we will look at them when they serve us.
Thank you so much, Seth Panyako, the Secretary General of the Kenya National Union of Nurses, talking to us via way of phone 5 days since the nurses strike kicked off on Monday this week. We'll wait and see how that plays at the end of the day. Will nurses go back to work or not? That will be answered only by the Kenya National Union of Nurses officials. Now, away from that, to the corridors of justice, where